Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. I'm joined in studio by our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
Good morning.
By writer, director, producer, Robert Meyer-Burnett.
Today is the Day of Atonement, John. That means I have to stand before God and explain why I've watched Infinity War as many times as I have this past year.
And I would probably have to explain why I haven't seen one battle after another yet. It's been one scheduling thing after another. Anyway, guys, most importantly, of course, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here, making our little show a part of your day. And here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a number of predetermined topics we got lined up for you guys. Then in the second part of the show, that's when we take your live comments and questions. If you have a thought, theory, opinion, question, observation, or theory that you'd like us to address, go ahead and fire it on into our tip link at www.streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. Now, the good news about that tip link is that it's actually good 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you're listening to our show on our podcast feed, either on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or your favorite podcasting app of choice, or if you're watching the show a little bit later in the day, you can still send in a question anytime. And if you send one in when we're not live, we'll just get around to answering it on the next episode. All right, guys, listen, before we jump into our first topic today, a little bit of housekeeping here. The movie meetups continue next week, as we're going to be doing 4 cities. We're going to be hitting Leawood, Kansas, right beside Kansas City at the AMC Town Center on Thursday, October the 9th. I'm going to be there for the 7:30 p.m. screening of Tron Ares. Then I'm going home. Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. I'm going to be at the the Cineplex Ancaster Silver City on Tuesday, October the 14th for another screening of Tron Ares at 7 p.m. Then on Wednesday, October the 15th, we're going to be in the Chicago area, just south of Chicago at the AMC South Barrington. That again is on Wednesday, October the 15th for a screening of Tron Ares. No, it's not that I want to watch Tron Ares that many times. It's just that's the new movie that's out, and that's the movie I'm assuming our audiences are going to want to see. And that's going to be at the 6:30 p.m. screening. And then the very next night, we're going to be in Indianapolis at the AMC Indianapolis 17 for a 7:10 p.m. screening of Good Fortune. And by the way, going to be joined at that movie meetup by Olympic gold medalist, undefeated movie trivia competitor, Cody Miller is going to be joining me at that one. Now, again, how these movie meetups work is simple. I'm just telling you what theater and what time I'm going to be at a movie. If you want to buy a ticket to that same movie, go to the theater's website, buy a ticket. We'll all watch the movie together. And then for about an hour or so afterwards, I'll hang out in front of the theater and we'll chat and take pictures and whatever. And if you live in one of those areas, I hope to see you there.
John, yesterday my friend who works in exhibitions saw Tron Ares in 3D.
Oh.
And he said it kicks ass.
Really?
It's an incredible popcorn munching experience. And to hear the Nine Inch Nails score in a theater was amazing. He said, it's not going to change your life, or anything like that. But he said it's a really good time at the movies.
I'm excited. I wasn't sure. I really wasn't sure. I mean, I know the trailers look good, but that's good to hear.
He also told me a plot point, which I will not share here.
Okay, don't
that
do
made
that.
me go, oh, that's interesting. And so my level of hype after having listened to the soundtrack, it's gone up.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm speaking of looking forward to something. I'm going to the Montalban Theater in Hollywood tonight.
Named after who?
Ricardo Montalban, a.k.a. Mr. Rourke, a.k.a. Khan Noonien Singh. So I'm going to be going to that theater tonight for a Ryan Reynolds and Friends screening.
I know, dude.
Of the brand new John Candy documentary, I Like Me.
How cool is that?
Dude, I think it's the first time a trailer made me tear up.
Are you going to bring a box of Kleenex?
I'm sure
not that kind of movie, Rob.
There.
Oh, come on. Get your mind out of the gutter. Santa Monica's blocks down.
So Ann and I are going to go see that tonight. I'm really stoked about it. Anyway, guys, let's get things started here, shall we? We're going to start off with this. Under the filing category of radical financial irresponsibility, according to a new report out of Forbes, coming straight out of official filings, financial filings from Disney, Indiana Jones 5, also known as Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, did not cost $300 and something million to make. It cost over $400 million, not in production and marketing, in production. Forbes is saying the cost of making Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny passes $400 million. Now, listen, whenever we hear about the production budgets being announced, you can pretty much take that to the bank, that's right around exactly what it is, because these studios are publicly traded companies. They have to do their financial filings. We'll all find out. So there's no point in lying about it. Anyway, last year, some reports started coming out of a number of trades saying, ooh, they're hearing that Dial of Destiny movie actually cost around $380 million. Well, Forbes is now saying the actual financial report that Disney itself put out is saying it's like around $418 million. Now, look, I understand wanting to take big swings. I mean, listen, as movie fans, we are often encouraging our filmmakers, take big swings, go all in, all that kind of stuff. Absolutely, 100%. I'm not trying to say that we don't do that. Of course we do that. And we do want our filmmakers and our studios to do that. However, there is a line between taking a big swing and absolute insanity. Did somebody like me believe, hey, an Indiana Jones 5, but an older Indiana Jones, that could be cool, that could be fun, that could make a little bit of money? Absolutely, I did. But when you make a movie that the production cost itself is, let's give a flat number, $400 million. And let's be conservative. Let's be conservative and say they put $150 million into marketing that thing.
Which they didn't. That was huge marketing. But go ahead.
You're talking about a movie that is now going to need somewhere around 700 million plus just to break even.
And a movie that followed Crystal Skull. That was the last taste in our mouth from Indiana Jones.
It's not like they were coming off of a $1.2 billion film and had every reason to believe this one could. It was coming off of the Crystal Skull that came out, I don't know, 67 years ago. Who in their right mind greenlit 400 plus? Now, in its defense, what's being said is that it was actually like 300 and big number million, and then they got caught with their pants down with a surprise by how much extra some of the post-production costs. Regardless, who in their right mind, coming off of Crystal Skull, that was a teenager ago, is spending $400 million, $175 million? Yeah. Ooh, 200 million. Big swing, really going for it. Okay. $400 million. I am going to go out on a limb. I don't know this as any kind of a fact. I'm going to go out on a limb. Whichever was the junior to mid-level executive that signed off on whatever that budget was, I'm going to suggest they're probably unemployed today. As well, they should be. Nobody in their right mind would have thought that an Indiana Jones movie in today's era, requiring probably minimum $750 million just to break even, would be a profitable film. Nobody thought that. Anyway, Rob, you hear this number. What comes to your mind?
Well, as a producer whose new film project, White Devils, cost $400,000, I'm happy to opine on this. Ironically, John, when Steven Spielberg made 1941, it went way over budget, and it turned into quite the debacle. So when George Lucas and Steven Spielberg teamed up and made Spielberg's next movie, Lucas said to Steven Spielberg, look, you need to be on time, you need to be on budget, and we're going to make this movie for $20 million. And arguably, Steven Spielberg did some of his best directing work. There's scenes. I love the Marcus Brody and Indiana Jones scene where they talk about he's going to go for it.
Yeah.
And you see that scene. It's in one room. It goes from 2 shots to singles, back to wide masters. Spielberg tour de force in directing because he knew what he had to do. He knew he had to keep it on time and on budget. And we got one of the most iconic films ever made. If George Lucas, I know he produced Crystal Skull, but if George Lucas had produced Dial of Destiny, it would not have cost $400 million. Say what you want. But the thing is, how is it that our studios somehow have forgot to make money or forgot to make movies in a realistic manner. There is no way. I mean, if you're making Avengers Doomsday and your cast is 400,000 main stars, I get it. You're going to have to pay more money because that's a lot of money for cast.
You're also coming off of back-to-back
billion and a half,
films.
$billion movies. So there you go. There's no excuse at all. Now, if people want, to me, of all the things people say about Kathleen Kennedy, I would say this is the biggest thing I've heard where you got to say to her, shame on you, Kathleen. You've been producing some of our great movies, and Spielberg himself called you one of the greatest producers who ever lived. You've got your first producing credit on E.T., $400 million. There's no justification under God's green earth why a movie like this would cost that much money. Mm-hmm. I would dare say there's no reason it should cost $200 million. But $400 million? Give me a break. This shows to me that Hollywood is broken.
Well,
these large tentpole properties cannot continue to cost this much money.
I think they've come to that realization. I think that 2020 was an era of extreme bloat, and we covered that quite extensively.
We did.
And based on the returns, I think Hollywood realized that, oh, wait, we're still not pre-pandemic numbers. We're pretty far from that. And we're still fighting streaming, even though streaming has its issues too now. I think we've seen in this last year budgets, films coming under and doing well, and studios understanding that a profit margin is a profit margin is a profit margin. So even if you're stair stepping now, something like off Sinners, something off whatever, where you're not putting as much in, but you're making a good amount of money on it, they can stair step. They're not looking for like the $1.5 billion films, because not every film can be that.
No, but
I think they are hitting a realization now on the business end of it, where they're like, yo, let's step back.
Sinners had a production budget of less than $100 million, and that movie looked stunning.
Mm-hmm. Well, yes, but let's be fair. Let's be fair. If Ryan Coogler was trying to do the things that they did in Indiana Jones, it would not have been a $100 million budget. Let's not pretend that.
That's true, but still $400 million?
It's absolutely inconceivable. Now, somebody in the live chat pointed out, and it's a fair observation, that right around the pandemic era, both during and just on the outskirts of it, things were a little bit more expensive to do.
Because the protocols, yes.
Fair enough. I could see that making a $180 million movie becoming a $210 million movie. I could see that. There's simply no excuse for a movie costing $400 million. There's no excuse for it at all. I don't care if your movie's got the word Avengers at the front of it. You can't spend $400+ million on one single movie. You just can't. Now, it's so inconceivable to me, Rob, that when I first saw the headline, I thought this might be a little bit of clickbait, because I bet once I read into the article, it's going to be, that's how much it cost, i.e. the production plus budgeting or plus marketing, which wouldn't be completely outrageous. But just the production alone, I don't know, man. It just makes me scratch my head.
Well, in terms of, what people don't understand is Hollywood movies do not make, we talk about movies that are making $100 million, $200 million, $300, $400 million. They're not making 100, 200, 300% profit. Right. If you have a movie, a Hollywood movie that makes, like, if you think about any business and the return on investment, if you can make 20%, 25%, 30% on your money that you've invested, that's a great return. Anybody says, okay, you've done well, especially in the space of a couple of years. Anybody would be happy with that. So let's say Avengers Doomsday, for instance, let's say they spend $600 million on that movie. You're coming off, which is insane, but that's probably what it's going to cost. You're coming off of an Avengers movie that made almost $3 billion. So even if Avengers Doomsday grossed $2 billion or whatever, or something, or close to $3 billion, and you spent $600 million on it, you're getting a decent return on your investment.
Yeah.
Even at $6, but that's because they can look at the other 4 Avengers movies and go, oh, all of these movies each made at least $1.5 billion.
And all beloved.
Yes.
That's another key. That's the two keys, right? Look at the financial track record of it, and it's completely beloved.
And how valuable were they on SVOD? How valuable? How many times have people watched Infinity War and Endgame? In my case, about 60. Yeah. And that's how people can see how the value continues to have value long after the films come out.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? Forbes is reporting, rightly or wrongly, that according to Disney's own financial disclosures, that Indiana Jones film cost well over $400 million to make. It's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Anyway, guys, whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, Matt Reeves's and Robert Pattinson's The Batman was fantastic. I absolutely loved it, and it was definitely the darkest, grittiest Batman we've had. I'm not saying it's the best Batman we've ever had. That's probably still The Dark Knight. But, I mean, it was definitely the darkest, the grittiest. Well, now Colin Farrell, who has completely read the script, told us a little while ago that he's not in too much of the movie. He's got a reduced role in this one. But he's made some more comments about it that I think are very interesting and makes me wonder about some things. Now, this comes from CBR, writing, Colin Farrell confirms that his return for the Batman 2 teases scarier sequel with bigger stakes. He wrote this, as noted by industry fan account DCU Prime on TV on Twitter, returning star Colin Farrell recently confirmed both his status in the Batman Part 2 and what fans can expect from the upcoming sequel. This is what Colin Farrell said. I've got an even smaller role in this one, Farrell stated, but I'm okay with that. I've read the script from start to finish, and I can't say much about it, but it's deeper, it's scarier, and the stakes are bigger. I'm really excited to see it. It's deeper, it's scarier, the stakes are bigger, and I'm really excited to see it. All right. Normally, what I and many of you guys would do is, newsflash, actor in upcoming movie says movie's gonna be really good. Woo, Kel Supri. I'm gonna give a lot more weight to this one though, because Colin Farrell, whether it's an act or not, has kind of almost been separating himself a little bit from Penguin, you know, playing coy about Penguin season. I don't even know that I want to do Penguin season 2. He's been around like, I'm not even in the Batman 2 very much. I actually have a very small role. I'm not in it much. It seems to me that Colin Farrell is less prone to the hype train on this one than, say, maybe Robert Pattinson would be or Matt Reeves would be. You know, if the director comes out, oh, this is going to be even better. For Colin Farrell, who's saying, look, I'm not even in this movie much, but this thing is deeper, this thing is scarier, and this thing has bigger stakes.
And I like you.
How do you take a movie like The Batman and make it deeper? That was a deep movie, man. For a comic book film, that was an extremely deep movie. How do you make it the stakes bigger? The city was on the line, you know, the flood and all that kind of stuff. How do you make it scarier? That was the most terrifying of Batman movies. Like what Paul Dano did with Riddler. I mean, the movie starts with a brutal murder. Like right off, like Batman, welcome, thanks for coming, folks. Kill. You know, it starts and there's some pretty brutal murders in the movie as well. So I don't know. You can still make an argument that Colin Farrell's an actor in the movie and he's just hyping it up. Fair enough. I happen to believe there's more to it than that. And I'm already excited for the Batman 2 whenever it comes. But I find Colin Farrell's comments here pretty interesting. Rob, you're hearing Farrell saying this is deeper, it's scarier, stakes are higher, all that kind of stuff. Do you buy what he's selling? And if you do, where could this go with a second film?
I buy it. I mean, I think that one of the things that I really like you pointed out, the first Batman, it was pretty, it had a lot of scope, but its scope was emotional. You know, you had the Penguin, you had Catwoman, you had Riddler, you had everybody in Gotham City. You know, you had all the relationships that Batman had, especially with the chief or the chief to be, and the film really resonated on a number of levels. And I think that Colin Farrell is also, because look, he's been in everything. He doesn't need to hype By the way, he was great as Sonny Crockett, Miami Vice. He doesn't need to do this. So I'm sure he's responding to it, and his response is genuine. And I think what they've done is they've call it the Empire Strikes Back of the Batman movies. The personal stakes are higher. The confrontation of Luke and Vader, give Batman that. Maybe the stakes are much more personal and scarier to Batman himself and everybody in his orbit. I mean, I would imagine, Matt Reeves is a very talented filmmaker, and they've taken a long time to write this script. So it's not surprising to me that the script is good. That they really thought long and hard about getting this script right. Even James Gunn was singing its praises. So it's not surprising to me that this is good. And what do I think it's going to be? I think that I think it's going to be emotionally much more difficult for Batman, because I do think the Batman had much bigger emotional, like Christopher Nolan's movies were more external. Everything that was going on was big. You had the politics of Gotham, you had the Joker, and you had but the Batman was more internal, especially in terms of Batman himself. I mean, he was not, whereas Christian Bale was much more established, that Bruce Wayne, because it was early on in the Batman's career in the Batman. So I would imagine that this movie has more of what turns the Batman into what he becomes later, meaning some dark shit's going to go down for our boy. Something like that. And I think that's what Colin Farrell was probably referring to.
Guys, question is for you. What do you think about Colin Farrell's comments saying this new Batman movie, even though he's not in it nearly as much, is going to be deeper, it's going to be scarier, and the stakes are going to be bigger? Or do you just think, hey, this is an actor hyping up his own movie? Or maybe you think there's more to it than that? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, with that down, we're going to take a little time here and play ourselves a round of what's more likely. We got on our community tab a little bit earlier, and we asked you guys to submit some scenarios to us about what would be more likely, and we're going to adjudicate that. Jonathan's got a few picked out there. So Jonathan, what do we got up first?
All right, Robert. What's more likely here in this scenario when Avatar Enthusiast says, what's more likely, Leonardo DiCaprio gets his second Oscar or Dwayne Johnson his first Oscar?
Ooh, that's a good one. You know what? I think I'm sorry. I think it's more likely Leonardo will get his second Oscar. I don't know if he's going to get it for one battle after another, but it's hard for me to wrap my head around Dwayne Johnson getting an Oscar. But I haven't seen The Smashing Machine yet. I'll be seeing that tomorrow, and maybe I'll change my mind after that. But look, if he gets a nomination, that to me will be shocking in itself. So I think that could very well be something that could happen. I could see that happening. Will he win? I don't know.
Yeah, listen, I got to agree with you on this. It's more likely that Leo gets a second. Now, look, through a weird string of scheduling conflicts, I have still not seen One Battle After Another.
Me neither.
And I ain't going to see it tonight either. So I got to grant it. I've also not seen Smashing Machine yet, but I am seeing that in the next couple of days. So you're asking me a question in a vacuum. Leo DiCaprio or Dwayne The Rock Johnson? Well, Leo DiCaprio, obviously. Now, I have heard remarkable things about Dwayne Johnson's performance in The Smashing Machine. Like a lot of people are saying it's pretty much a lock he's going to get a nomination. We'll see. But in that vacuum, I just got to say, well, Leo DiCaprio is clearly the better actor. So for now, I'm going to say it's probably more likely that Leo gets his second one. All right. What's next?
All right, John, going over to you. Is this more likely when we hear from Matt Black, who says Mortal Kombat 2 or Street Fighter will have the better worldwide box office numbers?
It's a good one.
I don't think either will be huge. I'm going to go with Mortal Kombat 2. And the reason I'm going to go with Mortal Kombat 2 is despite the fact that the last Mortal Kombat movie was not very good. The trailer for the new one is fantastic. And it looks like they took the few things that worked and doubled down on them, and the things that didn't work and corrected them. And they're kind of leaning into what it actually is. And that is going to excite some people. Honestly, I don't expect many people are going to go see Street Fighter. I may love it. I'm going to go see it. But I just don't see a lot of people going out to see Street Fighter. Again, I also don't see a lot of people going out to see Mortal Kombat 2, but the trailer's fantastic. And so I'm going to give the edge on this one to Mortal Kombat 2. What about you?
I got to go with you on that one, John, because you know what? People love Mortal Kombat. Even if it's not good, people are going to roll out for it. And after that trailer, even I want to see Mortal Kombat 2, which is like, I had no interest in seeing it.
I'm in the same way. I didn't care about the second
no.
film until I saw that trailer.
I mean, that trailer itself was so entertaining. And if the movie, look, they've moved it into May, which means somebody has some faith in it. And it's Warner Brothers, right? So it wouldn't surprise me that I think it is Warner Brothers' New Line. They moved it into May. Somebody's thinking, they're like, hey, we're in the summer movie season. We're going to make some coin off this movie. I think it could happen. A Street Fighter with no Raul Julia, no sale. And Raul Julia is not alive with us
Nobody
anymore.
saw that one either.
I know.
I see some people in live chat saying, John, don't sleep on Street Fighter. I am dead asleep. It's not going to make... Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's going to make $4 million, but this movie will not... I'm going to go on a limb right now. This movie will not crack $250 million.
Can I just say, I watched a playthrough or like gameplay of the new Onimusha movie or the Onimusha game, which is one of my most eagerly awaited things. That's all I care about. Bring back Capcom. Give me my Devil May Cry. Come on, what's up?
Now, to play devil's advocate for a second, we've seen the trailer for Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah.
And that took both of us from not caring about that movie to being straight up excited to watch it.
Yeah.
Who knows how we're going to feel once we see a Street Fighter trailer? I'm not expecting much, but I wasn't expecting much from the Mortal Kombat 2 trailer either. So maybe this is a discussion we'll need to revisit once they drop a trailer to that new Jason Momoa Street Fighter.
Yes. And you know, I'm not going to count anybody out.
All right. What's next?
What's next is, let's see. We are going over to End. Just End. Andy, what's more likely, Rob? Ironheart gets renewed for a second season, or Marvel Zombies gets a second season?
Okay. Marvel Zombies was pretty fun. I'm just gonna say I wasn't gonna watch it. I watched it. I liked it. I think that Marvel Zombies, and what's 4 episodes compared to however much Ironheart cost, I think Marvel Zombies 2 is gonna come before we get a second season of Ironheart.
Yeah, I didn't love Marvel Zombies. I thought it was okay.
It was fun.
I mean, I thought it was better than What If.
Yeah, look, I had no faith in it
things.
at all.
Yeah, it definitely had some interesting things in it. It wasn't nearly as good as what was the Wakanda, Eyes of Wakanda?
Yeah.
That ended up being far better than I was
really
expecting it to be. But I still gotta easily say it's more likely that we get a What If season 2 for the exact reason Rob just mentioned. How much would it cost to make an Ironheart season 2 compared to how much would it cost to make Marvel Zombie season 2? It's night and day. It's a complete night and day thing. Now, look, I'm not saying they won't make an Ironheart season 2. They shouldn't. I'm not saying they won't, but it's just, look, it's clear. Like, the one that has the best chance of getting a second season is Marvel Zombies for
Plus,
sure.
I got to tell you, I really like the zombie character designs of the Marvel Universe characters in that animated show. I thought they did a really good job.
Yeah, listen, the Blade Knight character looked fantastic.
Yeah.
The Okoye, not Okoye. Yeah, it was Okoye, right? The Okoye Scion, the look of it was great. I love the multiple looks of Wanda. I mean, the design work in it was Thor looked awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a lot. The design work, I actually surprisingly like the animation in it. I liked it more than What If, so I would watch a second season.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
All right, we're going to move over to you, John. When Brett Besson asks what's more likely, James Mangold's Swamp Thing gets made or James Mangold's Star Wars gets made?
You know what? This is going to sound really weird to say, considering we live in an age where nothing that gets announced from Star Wars ever actually gets made. But I'm going to say the James Mangold Star Wars movie is the one that has... Now, it's likely both get made. But, we heard recently from James Gunn that, while nothing was officially announced, they've had plans for certain things, and they're changing some of their plans. That doesn't mean they're not going to make the James Mangold Swamp Thing movie. I'm very interested in seeing that. But right now, weird thing. They announced a Sean Levy, Ryan Gosling Star Wars movie, and they're actually making it.
Yeah.
What?
It's in production.
we've got momentum going here, Rob. So I'm going to say it's no guarantee either gets made, but there's a decent chance both get made. But I would say the one that's got the greater chance is his Star Wars film. Rob, what about you?
I agree with you. I think that whether or not they make a Swamp Thing movie is going to be very dependent on how well Clayface does.
Oh, that's a very good point.
I really do.
That's a very good point.
I think that if Clayface is great, then they can move into a Swamp Thing movie because look, Swamp Thing is, they have to have a whole different take on it, but it could be very cool. James Mangold's purported Star Wars movie is about the birth of the Jedi.
That's
going
what they're
back
saying,
25,000 years or whatever. That interests me. You know how you're like, oh, the idea behind movies is what it gets me initially interested. Like, what's this movie about? Like, I have to tell you, I saw a trailer for Daisy Ridley, speaking of Star Wars. She's in a new zombie movie. And I saw the trailer dropped yesterday. I'm like, this looks really good. You know, the premise seemed interesting to me. And so, and for that, a new take on zombie movies, I'm like, okay, I'm in. Going back to the Dawn of the Jedi, you meet the first Jedi. Like maybe one day somebody will tell me what the Sith really want, and this movie could do that. I'm interested. I'm interested to see. I think it sounds right up James Mangold's wheelhouse. Plus, I can imagine Disney going, "Did you see that Forbes report? You owe us some money, buddy. We got to make this movie for 125 million. Let's see you do it."
By the way, I should point this out. I'm seeing a couple people in the live chat going, "Oh, none of them are going to get made because you just made that deal with Paramount." Guys, that doesn't mean anything. Like when you sign a new deal, a deal does not negate already made and established deals.
It's not an exclusive deal.
Filmmakers all the time sign like a first look deal or whatever with a studio, but already had some projects lined up with other things. Like, for example, the Duffer Brothers, the guys behind Stranger Things, they just famously signed this brand new big contract with Paramount. But guess what? They're still going to be producing stuff for Netflix under current and existing deals. Again, that's not to say that the Swamp Thing with James Mangold will get made or that the Star Wars one will get made, but it's that the deal he just made with Paramount will have absolutely zero bearing on whether that Star Wars and that Swamp Thing films do get made or don't get made, because those were pre-existing arrangements and the Paramount deal won't affect it one way or the other. All right, what's next?
Okay, next up, our penultimate, what's more likely, going to you, Rob? Saturday Morning Fan, me too. More likely He-Man movie will make $1 billion or make under 500 million.
Ooh, that's a good one. You know what? I'm going to say, and this is only based, it's not a shot in the dark, after what we saw at CinemaCon.
Yes, which I cannot wait for people to see all the stuff they showed us at CinemaCon.
And now this is only going by what we saw. And to be fair, they did not give us any indication of how much of this movie takes place on Earth or how much of it takes place in Eternia. But seeing like Idris Elba in the costume for Man-at-Arms and seeing the Sorceress costume and seeing all the set design and everything that Guy Dias and his team has done, and knowing that Travis Knight, Kubo and the Two Strings, and what he did with Bumblebee, that his sensibility, I'm going to go over. I think it's going to make over $500 million. I expect this to be a hit. I think there's a lot of people that want to see this. And if it's good, it could be like Transformers 1.
So what are you saying? You're saying it's
Over.
more likely to make $1 billion?
It will over 500 million.
Well, that's not the question.
It's not over under.
They
It's
said
$1 billion or under 500.
What's more likely? That it makes $1 billion or that it makes under 500 million?
Oh, I was only thinking $1 billion.
You think it's more likely to
But
make
I don't think it's going to make $1 billion.
But you think it's more likely that it makes $1 billion than it makes under 500 million?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
All right. I'm going to go different than you on this. I think it's more likely that it makes under 500 million. Now, listen, people have a really twisted sense of what's a hit now. Like, if you can make a movie that makes, now, as long as your budget isn't $275 million, if you can make a movie that makes $400 million, listen, let me put this in context for everybody. Everybody thinks everyone loved Godzilla Minus One.
Well, made $1 billion.
Yeah, Godzilla Minus One. You know how much money that movie made?
Billion.
$113 million.
Well,
But John, in relation to how much it costs, it doesn't matter. We're talking about how many people went out to see it. Almost nobody did. Now, I love the movie. I think the movie's great. What I'm saying is if He-Man and Masters of the Universe makes under $500 million, that does not make it a flop by any stretch of the imagination. That's still a good number. But I just don't see any reality that this movie makes $1 billion. I just see no reality. I think it's going to be good with Travis Knight directing it. I have very little doubt it's going to be good because he just kills it every time I've seen him make a movie. He's crushed it. So why not? But how good it is not necessarily a direct correlation to then how much money it makes. And I just don't think there's that many people out there, $1 billion worth of people that are pining for a Masters of the Universe movie. So I'm going to say it's more likely that it makes under 500 million.
I just got to step up the big G for a minute here.
All
that
right.
was a Japanese film. And Japanese films don't have the kind of distribution worldwide that our films do. So $100 million for a Japanese movie that costs $15 million to make is pretty damn good for Japan.
Again, in relativity, yes. But I'm saying that the bottom line is not that many people saw it that you
you're right.
may think saw it, right? So, and I love the movie. I thought
I
it was
did too.
great. So anyway, all
I
right.
just wanted to step up because, it's 70th anniversary. It's the big G.
And it was
Come
so
on.
cheap to make. It was an incredibly inexpensive film to make. But anyway, all right, what's next?
All right, on to our final What's More Likely. John, when Trajiki says, what's more likely to make more at the box office, the new Shrek or Ice Age?
Ice Age Boiling Point is literally a movie coming that I've not heard anybody ask for. Whereas for years, I've heard people go, when are they bringing Shrek back? And at the end, I've told the story a lot, but at the end of the last Puss in Boots movie, which was surprisingly good, when the camera pans up and shows that he's sailing towards far, far away, the audience lost their minds, right? A lot of people have been asking for another Shrek film. Nobody's been asking for another Ice Age film. Again, that's not saying that the new Ice Age film may not be great, but I see no reality that an Ice Age movie makes anywhere near as much money as a Shrek. I honestly think a Shrek 5 has the potential to be $1 billion film.
100%, dude.
So anyway, I'm going to say Shrek 5. Rob, what about
You are 100% correct. There's no way in God's green earth an Ice Age movie is going to outgross a Shrek movie. No way. Shrek is one of the most valuable animated properties, theatrical animated properties we have, I think. I don't even know the numbers. I haven't even looked at them. But if you look at the Shrek franchise, you got to talk about some big money there. Everyone loves Shrek. No one more than Taylor, but everybody loves Shrek. Donkey. I love Shrek.
Yeah, by the way, is Tragic 1217 actually Taylor? Is that his other moniker?
I have no idea.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So yeah, 100% it's going to be Shrek. And all right, guys, that will wrap up this little session of What's More Likely. Do you guys have thoughts on what's more likely out of any or all the scenarios we just covered? Jump on down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? There's this little film called Kill Bill. And of course, most of you probably know this, some of you may not. There's, of course, Kill Bill 1 and Kill Bill 2. But it was never made that way. Quentin Tarantino made one Kill Bill movie. The studio looked at it and said, it's too long. What if we break it into 2 parts? Something that Tarantino didn't really want to do. But that's what they did. They broke it into 2 parts. And ever since then, there's always kind of been whispers that maybe someday we'll get Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair. Well, it's now official. Lionsgate, according to this report in IndieWire, is releasing the, as it was intended, one single film, Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair, that will be 4 hours and 18 minutes long. I repeat, 4 hours and 18 minutes long, coming to theaters on December 5th. They write the following.
The next movie meetup.
That will not be the movie meetup. I can guarantee you that. Even though I love Kill Bill. What is Quentin Tarantino's greatest movie? Before you answer, we're going to wager you haven't seen it. Namely because it's never been released. Not really. Back in July, IndieWire declared Tarantino's best film to be Kill Bill, the Whole Bloody Affair, which combines both theatrically released parts of Kill Bill and was Tarantino's original vision as one complete movie. After a handful of screenings at Tarantino's own Vista Theater, Lionsgate is now giving The Whole Bloody Affair a proper release in theaters for the first time since it played at Cannes in 2006. Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair will open in theaters from Lionsgate on December 5th. Now, there's going to be stuff in there you've never seen. Because according to the report, the 258-minute long epic will be screened in 70mm and 35mm in select markets. And it has a 7.5-minute anime sequence that was never in the originally released films. And it removes the cliffhanger ending from Volume 1 and the recap that began in Volume 2. So it actually takes some things out, and it's still 4 hours and 18 minutes. All right. I think this is one of those events that is worth putting in theaters. Listen, this isn't going to make...
Especially in 70.
Yeah. This movie isn't going to make $30 million. But to have Quentin Tarantino's original vision of one continuous film, despite its runtime, I know Ray will never go to this. I know several people that will never go to this because of the runtime of it. I think it's worth putting in theaters. Do I think maybe they should have done a little bit more editing to maybe at least get it down to 4 hours? Maybe. But again, 4 hours and 18 minutes, that's a long haul, man. I admit I'm probably still going to go see it, even though I've seen both films more times than I can count. But I'll probably go to sit down and watch it in one continuous viewing. Rob, what do you think about this move? I mean, it's been years in the rumor mill that it will be happening. It's been put together for individual screenings. What do you think about Lionsgate giving it a release?
I think it's great. I've actually seen it. I saw it at the New Beverly 10 years ago, something like that. I would love to see this again. The only version I believe that exists, the one that I saw, had French subtitles on it because it was the Cannes version.
Right.
Like that's the only print that they had of it. So I think it's great. And the other thing that I question is one of my prized DVDs, not Blu-rays, not 4Ks, is my Japanese DVD of Kill Bill Volume 1 that has the original House of Blue Leaves sequence on it that doesn't go into black and white, that is bloodier and longer than, because Tarantino had to make changes. Our version goes to black and white, the American version. So I believe that this version restores that. So you've got the original House of Blue Leaves sequence that isn't black and white. So I can't wait to get this because that means I'll be able to get it in 4K, which I've got a bootleg version of it that's not very good, that was kind of cobbled together, but I can't wait to get rid of it. I can't wait to see this. I can't wait to see it in 4K. I can't wait to see what Lisa Stevenson at Lionsgate Limited is going to do with the awesome packaging. I can't wait.
Do you recall when you saw it at the New Beverly? Because that's Tarantino's film theater. He also has the Vista now.
Yeah, and they've been playing that same print at the Vista for the last month.
Did it include an intermission? Because oftentimes at his theaters for long movies, there's still an intermission.
I don't remember, to be honest.
Okay, look, I don't care whether he did it at the Vista. This has to have an intermission.
Oh, man.
You have to. You can't expect people to buy popcorn and soda and then sit for 4.5 hours.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like he literally baked in an intermission for Hateful Eight. So, I mean,
yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know that I'll go to this if I don't hear it has an intermission.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I don't want to have to miss some of the movie to go to the bathroom.
I'm curious too, because like he made that extended version of Hateful Eight and made it in 4 chapters. That's on Netflix. So that's, I don't know what he's going to do. It's going to be interesting to see, but there's no intermission in Return of the King.
Well, and it should have had one. But by the way, somebody in the live chat, Michael Burgess, saying Polygon is saying it has an article saying that it will have an intermission. So if that's true, good move. You got to have an intermission.
Yeah, and what's cool with Quentin Tarantino is the intermission will have like a roadshow version, like the original Hateful Eight with music playing, and
there's usually like a 20-25 minute intermission.
You know, I forgive me for going off on a bit of a rabbit trail. Let me use this as a soapbox here to go on my intermission rant again for a second. I believe all movies over 2.5 hours should have an intermission. It has to minimum be 2.5 hours, maybe even a little bit longer, maybe 2:45. But I believe they all should. I think that would be, again, I think that's good for the moviegoers because people having to miss parts of the movie to get up to the bathroom. When other people get up to go to the bathroom, it's distracting. I think less people will pull out their phones if they know, in about 20 minutes, I can step outside and check my phone. Plus, when Ann and I go to the Pantages Theater a lot to watch musicals, You know when they sell their most merch and their most concessions? During the intermission. So it'll be good for the theaters. It'll be good for the fans. Again, not 2 hour and 20-minute movies, not an hour and 55-minute movies, but if you start getting close to 3 hours, I think any film should have an intermission.
Well, I think you're right, but you just brought up a really, really interesting point, John. What is the Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair popcorn bucket going to look like?
Is it getting a wide enough release that they'll do a
I
special
don't know,
popcorn
but if
bucket
they
for it?
don't make one, you know what? I'm going to call Lisa, and I write those articles for the Lionsgate Limited website. I'm going to call her up and say, you've got to make a popcorn bucket. How can you not have?
What would it be, though?
I don't know.
Just a big hilt of a sword?
I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. I can't.
Or maybe instead of a popcorn bucket, a popcorn sword.
What's the name of the killer schoolgirl in it?
Oren. No, that's
Oren's her master.
Gogo Yubari.
So maybe a bust just of her with a lollipop and the head opens up and there's popcorn in it. I'd get that. I can't imagine what else it would be. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair is coming to theaters, and it's going to be closer to 4.5 hours than it is to 4 hours. 4 hours, 18 minutes long. I'm probably going to go see it. I do hope there's an intermission.
I know what it is.
What
It's
is
the
it?
Pussy Wagon. That's the popcorn bucket. And it's the bed of the truck. And then you put your soda in.
Itself.
Yeah.
You put the soda in the cabin, and the bed of the truck holds the popcorn.
Well, they made the Fantastic Four, Fantastic Car into a popcorn bucket.
Why not? Anyway, guys, whatever you think about it, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. Catch the words, I'm Buck. And
you got to get the keychain. They got to sell the keychain.
Yeah.
all right, guys, with that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Don't know if you've heard, but there's a new Avengers movie coming. Christmas season of 2026. So it's still over a year away from now, but they've been talking a lot about it. Yesterday, we talked about that little cryptic message that the Russo brothers put out that I've come to be convinced that it's the 3 A's. They're projecting that it's going to be 3 Avengers movies, not 2. We talked about that yesterday. Go check out our conversation there. But the question then turns to, when are we going to get our first look at it? Now, we are thankfully living in an era now where movies no longer waste energy and waste momentum by putting out marketing too soon. Not just a few years ago, studios were marketing their movies like a year and 3 months before the movie would come out. They don't do that anymore. But there's a report out there right now saying that we're going to get our first Avengers Doomsday trailer, or teaser, I should say, in just a couple of months with Avatar, Fire, and Ash. The folks over at the Direct Right, according to a new report from Daniel Richman, who has gotten some pretty big scoops, gotten some things wrong, so we'll take it with a grain of salt. A release window for the first Avengers Doomsday teaser is in sight. Richman revealed on his Patreon that Marvel Studios reportedly plans to include a first look at Avengers Doomsday with Avatar, Fire, and Ash. Avatar 3 is the last major release on Disney's calendar for the year and is a fitting film to promote Marvel Studios' biggest upcoming movie, just as the Fantastic Four First Steps was the home of Avatar 3's debut trailer. All right. Let's first reiterate what we said a few minutes ago. This could be true, could not be true, right? It's coming from a source that is sometimes right, so you got to pay attention to it. Sometimes wrong. I am one of the people that really believes there is simply no point to marketing a film, to start putting out pieces of marketing a year before the movie comes out. Momentum has a shelf life. Buzz has a shelf life. And you put out stuff a year in advance, it's not going to serve your movie at all. That whatever buzz momentum gets generated from that is going to be dead in a few months, and you could have just taken advantage of it later on. However, to every rule, there are exceptions. And there are 3 key reasons why I believe this could very well be true. And I'll go so far as to say I'll be surprised if it's not true. Key reason number 1. Doomsday is just a different kind of film. And what's riding on it is different than most movies. Marvel is in a position that they're really trying to get back their luster. They're trying to get back that bulletproof kind of fan loyalty, fan love, and excitement, enthusiasm, all that kind of stuff. Every time, it's been a few years, Rob, but every time it used to be when a new Marvel movie was coming, it was an event. It was something you circled on your calendars months in advance for. Didn't matter what it was. It's not like that anymore. It's just not. And they are putting a lot of eggs into this Doomsday basket. And I think Marvel may want to be making an entire year build up to this thing, like something that they want to create, maybe artificially, but they want to create this atmosphere that everything about movies right now is about counting down to December of 2026. And they want to create that impression and that illusion. Again, artificially, still, they may be wanting to do that. So that's the first reason why I believe that that could absolutely be real. The second reason I believe this could absolutely be real is, look, they're done principal photography on the movie. They're done. I'm sure they're going to do a few weeks, maybe even a month of pickup shots later that they do on all Marvel films. But the principal photography of the movie is now finished. James Gunn and Marvel famously released their first teaser for Guardians of the Galaxy when they had only been shooting the film for 6 days. They'd only been shooting it for 6 days, and they put together the first little teaser sizzle. So since this movie's production is actually finished, preliminary production at any rate, there's no reason to believe they couldn't have not only just a glimpse, but a compelling teaser to put together. That's the second reason I believe this could be real. But the third reason, Rob, I think is the most compelling reason why I'm going to believe this. And that's this. This ain't about promoting Avengers Doomsday. It's about getting even more seats in the seats for Avatar Fire and Ash.
Mordor.
You're already going to get a lot of people going to Avatar Fire and Ash. A lot of people are going to be going.
Yeah.
You put out there, by the way, come this opening weekend, you're going to be the first people to see the first teaser. It's not going to be full trailer.
In IMAX 3D.
In IMAX 3D and whatever format you
your
want.
first look of whatever.
You're going to be the first people to get a glimpse of actual footage of Avengers Doomsday.
And it's going to make you so cool.
And if you believe in what Channing Tatum is going to say, it's 50 times more mind-boggling than the last
It's going to melt
Avengers
your brain,
movie.
says Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
That's what he said. It's going to melt your brain out of your ears. Listen, we just saw Disney do the same thing with putting Avatar Fire and Ash first look in front of Fantastic Four. What movie was it that put our first look at Christopher Nolan's Odyssey? Remember there was a movie that they put out recently, and like Odyssey was going to be the only film. This movie was the only.
And I saw it too.
It was
and I can't remember what it was. People say it was Jurassic World. Was it Jurassic
No, because I
World?
didn't see Jurassic
No, I
World.
don't think it was Jurassic World. Anyway, but there was a movie they put out, and like that was the first place you get to get a first glimpse of it. Everybody's saying Jurassic. Maybe it was. I can totally see this. So yes, benefit start the year long.
And Superman. That's where I saw it, was Superman. It was Superman and Jurassic World Rebirth.
For Odyssey?
Mm-hmm.
Because you had to go to IMAX to see it, right?
Oh, that would make sense.
Yeah.
So yes, the benefit of starting a year-long countdown to Avengers Doomsday, but it really will benefit Avatar Fire and Ash. Yeah, you can make the argument, guys, hey, John, everybody's going to go see Fire and Ash anyway. It's going to make a ton of money. Absolutely will. Yeah, no doubt. But you know what's more than a lot of money? More is more than a lot of money. And you tell the world we're putting the first look at Avengers Doomsday in front of whatever. You can make it fucking Ice Age. Now I ain't saying
Ice Age will be Trek then.
then it's gonna be. I ain't saying this is gonna be Meet Joe Black with the Phantom Menace trailer. I'm not saying that, but you're gonna, Rob. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that Avatar will make millions, not tens of millions, but will make millions more simply because they put out word that first look at Avengers Doomsday is going to be in front of that movie.
Oh, I think tens of millions more.
And by the way, as big at the box office as the Avatar movies are, and they are the world's biggest amongst them, they don't open all that strong.
Right.
Remember?
The
First Avatar didn't have a massive, and when Avatar
They've
2
got
opened,
legs.
everybody in the culture wars websites were like, oh, go broke, Avatar 2's a flop on its opening weekend, and everybody with common sense was like, guys, the first Avatar didn't open big, it's about legs for it. But so these movies don't open the biggest. This will put even more butts in seats. So I gotta say, because of those three reasons, I believe this report. I really do. And I think this is one of the rare exceptions that I think it's acceptable to do it. Anyway, Rob, you hear this report. Do you believe it? Do you not believe it? And what are the arguments for doing it or not doing it?
Okay, first of all, I absolutely believe this, because why wouldn't you? But I've got one for you, John. What movie released an announcement trailer 20 months before it went into theaters? 20 months.
20 months.
Yep. I'll give you a hint.
Michael Keaton's Batman?
No. The trailer, it was an announcement trailer, and it was dropped on April 7th, 2000. 20 months before the first of three movies came out in the
Lord of the
theater.
Rings.
That's right.
Ah,
That's why I believe this. Because not only are we going to get a look at Avengers Doomsday, we are going to get the announcement that there are 3 Avengers movies coming.
So you think they could not only give us the first teaser, but that will be where they drop the bomb of
Yep.
The 3 Avengers.
the Amigos.
Christmas brings gifts. And I think not
Why
only
did you say that so ominously?
I don't know. I don't know. Because look, I got to tell you, I don't know if there's 3 Avengers movies. There's probably not. It's probably some dumb thing.
I thought you.
This
you
picture
sold
says
me on it.
otherwise.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Like
Look at it.
that's-
Shining
that's
on those 3 A's right there. The 3 A's.
I can't unsee it.
You
now.
can't see it. It's
That's
right
exactly
there.
what it is.
It's right there. It's 3 Avengers movies. You've got Avatar coming out, the third Avatar, and you're going to have an announcement trailer before a year in advance, and it's not going to be an announcement trailer. I think it's going to be like Lord of the Rings. It's going to tell you that you're going to get 3 movies. They're
in
going
a year.
to reset the release date, and everyone's going to lose their minds. That's what I think is going to happen. I don't care if they've already announced The Simpsons. I don't care. In my universe, as my friend Rob G says, wouldn't it be cool if? So wouldn't it be cool if there's 3 Avengers movies, and wouldn't it be cool if they announce it in front of Avatar 3? Just because I can't wait to see Avatar 3. I'm going to get in one day, I'm going to get Mordor, Na'vi, and Doctor Doom.
Maybe. If
No,
the
for
report
sure, dude,
is
for sure.
correct.
Don't harsh my melon.
And
It's Day
again,
of Atonement.
I'm
Come on.
gonna go with we can't verify that this is true. We just simply can't. I'm just saying, as a film fan like everybody else, I'm looking at this context and I'm thinking, I believe it. I really do think they're going to do it. And I would go so far as to say, I think it would be a really smart decision for them to do it. Again, I'm the guy who is against starting your marketing campaign too early. But in this particular set of circumstances that Marvel is in and all that kind of stuff, it might be the right thing to do. And then comes the question, okay, how much do they show? Let's say they do drop a little teaser. I don't think it's going to be, because you remember some of the earlier trailers for like Infinity War and Endgame was really just an amalgamation of sound clips and whatever from previous Avengers films. There was an idea. Dun, dun,
That's what it's going to be, dude.
yeah. No, I think if they're going to do this, it's going to actually be footage of the movie.
Oh yeah,
It's
but
going to
it'll
be full footage of the movie. I think we're going to get there. We're going to get our look at Doctor Doom. I don't think they're going to give much away, but a look at Doctor Doom. They're going to want to make this be seismic. They're going to want to make this to make a huge splash, and then they're going to try to ride that momentum all the way into December.
You know, it'd be interesting take on that. What you were just saying, like there was an idea, is if we do hear a similar voiceover, but it's actually Doom's voice from his perspective
Yes,
of what
yes.
he has an idea for.
I believe that that's what they're going to do. They're going to do that. You're going to hear Robert Downey Jr.'s voice. They're going to play that off. And not only that, is it going to be one of the most, it's got to be one of the most epic teasers ever in history. You know how in Lord of the Rings they had the Fellowship walking over the top of the mountain?
Yes.
I think they're going to show something along the lines. There's so many characters in this movie. You're going to see, it's going to be so mind-blowing because you're going to see probably X-Men fighting Avengers, fighting Doctor Doom. I don't know what they're going to, everyone's going to be, I don't know. But then at the end, they're going to have, coming. And they're going to have the date, and they're going to show Avengers Doomsday. And then they're going to slide from a back behind that credit. They're going to slide another one. They're going to slide another one.
You got this all planned out.
Dude, I got it planned out. I'm ready.
I'll tell you what, though. I'm going to
My
tell you
world
right
it
now.
happened.
I'm going to go on record right now. If I'm in that theater
Oh boy.
for Avatar Fire and Ash, first screening, and they coming December, Avengers Doomsday, right? And it ends up being a 12-minute chair watch part 2.
Yes.
I am literally breaking out the hammer of Broadvia, and I am going to piss all over the screen in that movie theater before walking out angrily.
I'm gonna buy another ticket so I can see it again.
If they do chair watch part 2, I will be extremely upset. I'll be extremely upset and disappointed.
I just like the fact that in my case personally, that all of this speculation has absolutely made me excited about this. I am excited, despite all of my reservations and all of my vast intellect, to know that I'm going to get screwed and disappointed. I know that. But despite all that, John, I'm excited.
Listen.
I'm excited. I'm excited about this movie against all logic. I know what this, and I'm getting Mordor and Na'vi on the same day. I'm so excited.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? There's a report saying, it could be right, could be wrong, but saying we're going to get our first look at Avengers Doomsday in front of Avatar Fire and Ash. I believe there are some very valid reasons to believe that this is going to be true. It may not be, but I think there's some solid reasons to believe it. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, it's time for us to move into the most important part of our show, which is, of course, taking your live comments and questions. But before we do, 2 things we got to do. Bid good afternoon to Robert Meyer Burnett. Thanks for being here, my friend. Good job as always.
Your goddess has no dominion here,
No dominion
John.
here. And Iowa stayed silent. And we're also going to take another quick moment to thank the sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show, our friends at Zapier. Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Zapier. You know, one of the biggest game changers of the past year has been AI. But let's be real, just talking about AI doesn't actually make your day any more productive. What does make it more productive is finding tools to put AI to work for you. And that's where Zapier comes in. Zapier is the easiest way to take AI and plug it directly into the apps and processes that you're already using every day. No IT bottlenecks, no complexity, just results. For me, it's been about saving time on repetitive stuff so I can focus on the work that matters and I actually enjoy. And it's not just me. Over 3.4 million companies are already using Zapier to streamline everything from sales and marketing to IT and HR. With their AI orchestration platform, you can connect top AI models like ChatGPT or Claude right into the apps you already use. So whether it's automatically enriching leads, coaching your sales team, or even resolving IT tickets, Zapier makes it simple. Guys, join the 3.4 million companies already automating with Zapier and transform how you work with Zapier and AI. Get started for free by visiting zapier.com/Campea. That's ZAPIER.com/Campea. And thank you to our friends at Zapier for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show. By the way, shout out to X-Men superfan Emma Frost. More gifted memberships for people in the chat. Thank you so much for that, Emma Frost. Is incredibly generous of coming in there again. All right. Now, guys, let's get over to your comments and questions, shall we? Jonathan, what we got up first?
Ian McAllister says, hey, John, what do you think of the AI actress situation? It's getting scoped by talent agencies, and SAG-AFTRA have even spoken out against it. And I saw on GMA that a lot of big stars have come out against it.
It's a nothing burger. I don't know why anybody's talking about this. It's not serious and it's not real. And to me, it's just a big fat nothing burger. So I don't even see there being any reason to even talk about it, to be honest with you. All right, what's next?
That poor girl. And then Dan V follows up. Well, you haven't seen One Battle After Another, but what are your thoughts on One Battle After Another and The Long Walk? I know your review video for The Long Walk covered the reactions while Rob saw it. I thought The Long Walk was great. It was a big change to the ending from the book, but no spoilers.
I thought it was wonderful. I really enjoyed The Long Walk. What I said before was I kind of went in half expecting, because I never read the book, but I half expected some kind of battle royale / Hunger Games, but it ended up being a meditation on life and the moments in life we learn to appreciate and where we find the beauty and meaning in life. And it had a lot of like, oh my God moments too, but I thought it was a really beautiful film. I enjoyed it a lot. All right, what's next?
JJ, what's up, John? Loving Peacemaker, but with the events of the last episode and what could possibly come up in the upcoming episodes that's tonight. Possibly
it is tonight. That's right.
Come into the upcoming episodes having bigger implications on the DCU. Is this now considered homework?
No, I don't believe it. Listen,
No.
I don't believe you have to watch Peacemaker at all to watch whatever movie comes next. I really 100% believe that. I think James Gunn understands that's the assignment. He's talked about that before. So yeah, I mean, as great as Peacemaker is to watch, and I'm loving it, and its ratings have gone up since season 1 and all that kind of stuff. It's absolutely not necessary in order to watch the upcoming movies. So no, I don't think that's going to be required homework at all. All right, what's next?
Mikey Watson. F11 is okay. So Fast and Furious 11 is supposed to bring back Brian. I pitched they use stock footage of Paul Walker behind the wheel from previous.
No chance of that.
He wouldn't have aged very much either, but wheel from previous movies and have him save the day in the final act. I don't know that you make him the hero of it without spending money on CGI and just have stand-ins for the final barbecue.
No, that would be horrible. Yeah. That wouldn't work at all. You know who tried something like that? Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker with Carrie Fisher. Like, instead of just recasting Carrie Fisher, which is absolutely 100% what they should have done, they took old footage that they didn't use from other movies and kind of cobbled
Patched
together something, and it totally flopped. Did not work at all. No, if they're going to bring back Brian, which is what Vin Diesel says they're going to do, they're going to get one of Paul Walker's brothers.
That's what I believe.
Yeah, I have very little doubt. I mean, they haven't officially said that, so they might not. I'm saying my guess as a fan is that they'll just go and get one of Paul's brothers to play the role. They're not going to just take cobbled together footage and force a scenario around it. That would make no sense. All right, what's next?
We kind of touched on this yesterday, but Dodger says, hey guys, I have a thought on who the cameo is. Gunn said David Cornsweet won't appear as Superman, but he still could appear as Ubermensch.
I think he specifically said David Cornsweet was upset that he doesn't get to be in it.
Yeah, the actor period. So
I mean, listen, that would be cool, but from what James Gunn said, I don't think that's it. I don't think we're going to see David Cornsweet in there. And by the way, even if David Cornsweet is in there, I don't believe that's the big cameo. Like, we just had Superman. And Peacemaker was in it. Superman now and we've already had other Superman characters appear. So that's not that earth-shaking if David Cornsweet appears as Superman. I still got a feeling it's somebody else. We'll see. All right, what's next?
I'm holding back a slightly political joke here, so I'm not going to say it, but I'll tell you later. All right. A midget in a bikini says, in today's climate, is it time for Matt Stone and Trey Parker to do a new South Park movie? I'd love to see a live action version. The filth coming out of those kids' mouths, although they're older men now, would be epic. But the last one only did like 80 something mil.
Well, the question is why? We've got the show.
Yeah. You have to have an idea. It's not just like, oh, this is a good time to do something.
Yeah, I mean, with it especially being on streaming stuff, there's nothing they would be able to do in a movie that they can't just do on the show. Mm-hmm. So I don't really see the motivation or the function of doing a movie right now when we've got them doing their stuff every other week, sometimes on the show. So I just don't see what the impetus would be for doing another movie at this point. All right, what's next?
All right. it looks like the chat kind of read into what I was going to say anyway. Late to the party says, I'm probably the last to find this, and you probably addressed this already. We did. The Tilly Norwood. Is this experiment that is being seriously considered or just one-shot project? As always, your insights are greatly appreciated.
It was a farcical video made by a platform trying to show off their technology, and it's being made into something. It's a complete nothing burger. All right, what's next?
We got Steve Urbix. Love the show. Been a fan since AMC days. Okay, so if Dead is Dead and Gun Saffron DCU, where does that place Jason Todd Red Hood? Well, they haven't technically appeared yet.
We've never had Red Hood, so
it's not a continuation of the comics.
Yeah, I mean, it's wherever they say he is. Again, the movies are the movies, the comics are the comics. So, I mean, right now we've had no introduction to Jason Todd. There's been no reference in the DCU that Batman once had a Jason Todd Robin who was beat to death with a crowbar by the Joker. None of that's been there. So everything is still on the table. All right, what's next?
Mr. I was great to see you. Excuse me, on Harloff's birthday stream. I will be waiting to see when you come to Ohio. Definitely will try to make a movie meetup.
Yeah, I'll definitely do. We're definitely going to hit Ohio. That's 100% we will. Now, whether it'll be Cincinnati or Cleveland or Akron, I don't know where yet, but we will hit Ohio in the new year. It won't be before the new year, but it will be in the new year. 100% guaranteed we'll be there. All right, what's next?
All right. Cody Hunt Films. Already booked my tickets for Tron Ares in KC, so that's cool. You should definitely have dinner at Joe's KC prior to the screening. It's 3 minutes away from the theater. Best barbecue in KC. Can't wait to meet you.
Well, you know what I'm really excited about? The guy who recruited me to AMC and was my boss, my direct boss, when I was at AMC, he still lives out in Kansas. He's not with AMC anymore, but he still lives out in Kansas, and I'm going to be grabbing dinner with him when I go out there. So maybe that's the place he'll pick. But hey, listen, I'll tell you what, I used to have to go out to Kansas City a lot because that's where AMC's headquarters are. And so I used to have to travel out there several times a year. All due respect to Nashville, which was awesome, and everywhere else I've been. And I certainly didn't eat at every place. Okay. I'm not a food traveler, but the best barbecue I've ever had is in Kansas City. Now, again, I've never had barbecue in Texas. I only had barbecue. Though. I've only had barbecue at a couple of places in Nashville.
Yeah.
And maybe there are specific places. I'm just saying, from my limited experience, the best barbecue I've ever had was in Kansas.
Kind of depends if you like sauces or like more dry rub or whatever. Tangy would be like Carolinas. It's just all kind of different.
By the way, some people are arguing that there was no reference to Jason Todd. There was. What am I missing? What reference to Jason Todd was there in Superman? Did I miss something?
You guys would have to be really specific.
There was absolutely no reference to Jason Todd. I mean, unless there was something that I completely missed. If I did, by all means, people in the live chat, let me know. But there was, as far as I could tell, absolutely zero reference to Jason Todd in the DCU. So anyway, what's next?
All right. Craven was a great movie. I did not know that Craven was a great movie. Anyways, did you know that WWE Drew McIntyre was cast in Highlander as Angus MacLeod as well, Jeremy Irons? So we talked about Jeremy Irons.
Yes. So Drew McIntyre, who's not a real actor, who is a professional wrestler, a really good professional wrestler, by the way, is going to have a short, small role, in the movie as well, which is cool. But that's not worth making a topic out of. But I do like Drew McIntyre as a wrestler. I think he's a really good wrestler. And he basically is a Highlander. Like, he comes out with the kilt and the sword sometime. He was born to be in the Highlander, so that's pretty cool. But it will be a small role.
Was that his brother or cousin in the first movie who's like,
yes,
he fought alongside?
When he dies for the first time, then he comes back and everybody turns on him. Yeah, so I think that'll be one of those small little roles, probably.
Gotcha.
All right, what's next?
Ernie from Lafayette, Louisiana. John, a company called Santino's bought out our local theater, changed snacks, and took out the booze. I enjoy drinking on my second viewings of films. I wish AMC or Regal would have bought it. Anyway, good work, guys. Thanks, y'all, always. Ernie.
Yeah, listen, as somebody who doesn't drink, I really don't care about bars in movie theaters. But as somebody who likes going to movies with other people, I've always found it pretty cool when AMC instituted, I forget the name of their little bar areas, but I like that adults can go and MacGuffins. I like that adults can go and get adult beverages if they want. I kind of like that.
And boy, I love that bar restaurant at ArcLight Hollywood.
Oh God, that was so
even if you just want a dessert after,
dude,
so good.
going to ArcLight. For those of you who don't know, ArcLight was this iconic movie theater right in Hollywood. Quentin Tarantino used to go to movies there, and it was the best. It was the best. And part of it, like you walked into it, it's like you're walking into an airport.
Right.
It's because they had the big destination, like this huge, monstrous destination board, like in an airport, but it was movie times.
Yeah.
And they had this big restaurant and bar right there in the lobby, and it was just a great place to go and hang out before a movie. Oh man, and then it got shut down during the pandemic, which sucked. I miss that place. All right, what's next?
As do I. We got Brandon, big fan of yours for 11 years now.
Oh, thank you, man.
Thank you for the content. Peacemaker prediction: the Sons of Liberty are led by the alternate Universe 11th Street kids, not including Harcourt. Thanks again, John. Keep on keeping on.
Maybe.
But we know not all of them are because Vigilante is anti Peacemaker in that world.
No. Well, but Vigilante is part of the Sons of Liberty.
Oh, right. Yes. Sons of Liberty was yes. Now,
so it wouldn't have Harcourt. It wouldn't have Peacemaker.
Yeah.
It probably wouldn't have Abs. I don't know. Maybe Economos. Maybe Economos is the leader of it in that universe, or it's going to be the big cameo.
Right.
And we'll see what that is. I can't wait for tonight's episode. I cannot wait.
I hope it's more than 37 minutes.
All right, what's next?
Ryan, two-parter. To add to Rob's theory on them splitting up Doomsday into two, we have a ton of missing characters in ShareWatch. Maybe they will have one movie focused on Team 1, Sam Thunderbolt's F4 X-Men, and the second movie focused on Team 2, Spider-Man, Strange, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, Hulk, etc. And by the end of the movie, both movies leading to Secret Wars, both teams fuse on Battleworld, kind of like Marvel Zombies, where all of our main characters met at the end.
No, I don't think so. For a couple of reasons. Number one, that would imply that it was always planned to do it as two separate movies, and none of us here think that's the case. What it really looks like to us is that they started putting this thing together and realized, we could just break this into two films. So to do it the way you're suggesting means it would have to have been architected out that way right from the beginning. And none of us here think that's the case. The other thing is that we've already seen some on-set production photos where we see members from all the different teams together. Like there's that one photo where we see Evan Moss Backrack, who is Thing, and what's the character's name? Timu Captain America.
Oh, U.S. Agent.
Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we see Evan Moss Backrack, Walker, and somebody else from one of the other teams all together. Oh, it was Falcon, the new kid Falcon, all together, right? So that kind of goes against that one as well. So I don't think that's the way they're going to go with it. But Robin and Jonathan have convinced me that they're going to announce it being broken into two films. We'll see. All right, what's next?
Psycho says, hi crew, I think the big Peacemaker cameo scene is going to be the alien who was killed for the dimensional portal being revealed to be part of Brainiac's faction, and they will reveal his actor.
No, absolutely not. That's not a big cameo. When nobody in the audience watching knows who it is, that's not a big cameo. Look, the bar is the cameos at the end of Peacemaker Season 1, which was the Justice League. It was Superman and Batman and Jason Momoa and Ezra Miller's Flash and Wonder Woman were all there. Like that. Now, James Gunn says this cameo is going to be bigger. Big cameo. if it's not anybody that the audience even knows or recognizes, that doesn't count at all. That wouldn't fall under that category. It's going to be a big splash that even casual viewers are going to watch and go, oh my God, it's got to be something on that level. And some part of Brainiac that, I mean, they could do it, but that ain't the big cameo at all. All right, what's next?
Scooby Drool, hi John and crew. Mission Impossible or Indiana Jones, which franchise will cast a new lead first? Will they cast a new actor to lead the next Mission Impossible films, or will they cast a new Indiana Jones? Well, Indiana Jones is a must.
Yeah, I mean, look, I do not think they're going to do a continuation of Mission Impossible. I think at some point, Tom Cruise is just going to call it a day, and then it'll be done. And then at some point, 5-10 years from now, they'll reboot Mission Impossible. Same thing is going to happen with Indiana Jones, but I think Indiana Jones will be sooner. Regardless of what happened with Crystal Skull and regardless of what happened with Dial of Destiny, Indiana Jones is still a very big IP.
Mm-hmm.
And they will go back and start it again, and they will. And, again, I think they'll do it with both, but I think it'll happen with Indiana Jones sooner than it will with Mission Impossible. All right, what's next?
We got the Tick caught up with Peacemaker. Oh no, sorry, Scooby Drool again. Hey John, what are your thoughts on the new FX show, The Lowdown?
Haven't seen it.
I haven't either, but it's on my queue. That stars Ethan Hawke. The show has a mix of crime, drama, comedy, neo-noir. PS has a cameo for Peter Dinklage. I'm kind of sad that it's just a cameo because he's in the trailer. So
oh God, he's so good in Dexter this season.
Is he?
Oh, Peter Dinklage is so good in Dexter. Anyway, hey, listen, it's Handsome Hawk. So I'm interested, but
yeah.
I'm not caught up yet on Task. I still got to get caught up on Task. And we got Peacemaker going. So I haven't watched Lowdown yet, but I will at some point. All right, what's next?
The Tick caught up with Peacemaker season 2. Not as good as season 1, but that's a high bar. But I'm loving it. Also, I think this is the first time I've watched a John Cena performance, and I'm watching the character, not John Cena, not being a caricature of himself.
I think we've seen an evolution.
Yeah.
In John Cena, I really do. I think his abilities ramped up, and I've been loving this season with them being on Earth X. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with that. All right, what's next?
Wee Maurer says, J.K. Simmons' best friend's name from I Love You Man was Hank Mardukas.
Hank Mardukas, that's right.
And then there's Robbie. Sup?
My best friend is Hank Mardukas. And then Robbie. That was such a great... You know what? I got to go...
I want to watch it again, too.
When I talk about like a lot of my all-time favorite comedies, I never, ever mention I Love You Man. But that movie is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
That movie is so funny. I got to go back and watch that again soon. All right, what's next?
Anonymous says, hi, John. Hope you're well. If Marvel ends up splitting Doomsday and Secret Wars into 3 movies instead of... Well, I think it's Doomsday into 2, but instead of Secret Wars Part 1 and 2, I think a nice title for the third film would be Avengers Forever, based on the 99 comic run.
Well, yeah, but that's not really connected. I think the 3 movies are... If it is broken into 3, it's going to be... Avengers Doomsday, Avengers Secret Wars, and then whatever the one in the middle is going to be. I don't think they're going to call it Avengers Doomsday Part 1 and 2.
Right.
I don't think they're going to have Secret Wars and then another film after that. I think it's going to be Doomsday, Secret Wars, and this whatever this new one is in the middle with its own title. At least that's my guess.
Right.
All right, what's next?
Hayden, been watching since 2019. Movies offer us an escape. Having a space to discuss them after is a whole escape in itself, so thank you. If you were to ever have kids, what is one movie character quote philosophy that you'd like to pass on to them?
I think it will be, you've heard me mention this one a lot. It's the quote from Castaway with Tom Hanks, when you never know what the tide is going to bring in.
Mm-hmm.
There have been... I'll give you an example, all right? Just from my own life. I remember when I was doing the movie blog, And it had gotten successful enough that I was doing it full time, doing the movie blog, full time blogging from home. And then something happened with AdSense. Some new rules and things came in with AdSense. And all of a sudden, my income dropped by over 65%. And I wasn't getting rich off of blogging as it was.
Mm-hmm.
I was making enough to live okay, and I was paying my rent and putting a little money away in savings, and it was good. And then all of a sudden, I lost well over half of my revenue. It was just gone. And I remember kind of being panicked for a couple of days and thinking, well, this dream part was over. I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to do this. And then like 5 days later, I got this message from this company that wanted to buy the movie blog from me and pay me to continue to run it. Oh, and by the way, they knew I was wanting to make this little movie. They also wanted to finance my movie. The point is that there have been many times in my life, and I'm sure this is true for all of you, where things looked as bad as they could be, at least from our own perception, right? And now, today, I look back on all those different points and realize it all worked out, because you never know what's going to happen in life tomorrow. Never get too comfortable, because something terrible could happen tomorrow. But no matter how dark things look today, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. You just never know. And I think if there is anything that I would want to pass on, not just to a kid that I have, but friends or whatever, is that understanding about life. Never get too comfortable, because a curveball could hit you tomorrow, but at the same time, the opposite is true. No matter how bad something looks today, whether it's because your first girlfriend just broke up with you, or whether because you lost your job, or whether it's because you don't know how you're going to get your car repaired, or whatever it is, don't give up, because you don't know what the tide is going to bring in tomorrow. You just don't know what life is going to give you tomorrow. And I think that's the movie philosophy for me that has meant a lot to me, and I found it has been most true in life, and that I would encourage everybody with. All right, what's next?
Okay, we got Itcow, who says, new thoughts on Alan Ritchson DC roles. Wildcat would fit well in the Gunverse, a more brawny Batman type, but the character might be too close to earlier Hawk casting. Is Gunn more likely to cast Ritchson in a role outside of what we've seen him do before?
No, I think the only thing that you got to be careful of is I don't think you make him Hawkman.
Right.
That's really the only thing, because that's not similar to Hawk. That's like way too close, right? I would say you don't make him Aquaman because he was already Aquaman, and you don't make him Hawkman. Other than that, I think the cupboard's wide open. Make him whatever. I just think he would be a really neat addition. And according to him, he is going to be in the DCU at some point. It's just probably not going to be Batman, which I thought he would have been a good Batman too for the DCU, but we'll see. All right, what's next?
Okay, we got two more. I'm Ron Burgundy.
I'm Ron Burgundy?
I honestly didn't like John Cena as an actor until Peacemaker. I groaned whenever he was in something, but he just nails Peacemaker, and I applaud his performance and the episode directors for that. Can't imagine anyone else in the role.
You know, the movie that really made me go, you know, this guy could have something, at least when it comes to comedic timing. And that was that comedy Trainwreck. Remember that? When she was hooking up with the John Cena character. And it was that movie that I went, you know, he's got some pretty natural comedic timing. Now, then they rushed things, because they gave him his own lead way too early with Ike Barinholtz, who's in The Studio with Seth Rogen. They did that little comedy called Blockers, where John Cena was the lead, and he wasn't ready for it. Clearly he wasn't ready for it. But he's continued to get better and evolve and stuff like that. And now he's he's a legit leading guy for that series, and he's really evolved quite well. And now I really enjoy watching him in the role. All right, what's next?
Okay, I think this is our last one.
All right, last one of the day.
Bruce Jordan Kent. Is James Gunn Goku-fying Superman? Baby Goku was sent to conquer Earth, but hit his head. Grandpa Gohan taught kindness, always gets beaten up, depends on his friends, grows through trials, but stays kind. And Gunn even opens with Superman in Yamcha's iconic pose.
I don't think that's the case. I mean, the idea of like Superman, alternate realities of what Superman's coming to Earth have been pitched before and been pitched for a long time. And the whole motif of somebody sent as a conqueror becoming a champion of those who would have been conquered is also nothing new. That's a trope that's been around in Hollywood since before I started watching movies. So, I mean, you can draw parallels, but I think it's a bit of a stretch, maybe. So, anyway. All right, guys. And that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show a part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. Of course, big thanks to Robert Meyer Burnett for being here, our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
See you guys later.
My name is John Campea. Thank you so much for being here, guys. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.